While we were eating too much turkey and stuffing during the week of Thanksgiving, Maryland athletics were busy, playing all around the country. Terps football continues to spiral, and the lights of Vegas were too bright for Buzz and the squad. But Maryland men's soccer is still alive for a national championship. All of that and more on this week's edition of The Left Bench, starting now.
Welcome to The Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Benji Kaufman, and here next to me is Jona Jancewicz. And Jona, Maryland men's soccer is having one of those seasons on the pitch.
Yeah, Benji, you said it. The Terps continue to win, and this past weekend was no different.
Not to mention in the NCAA tournament to advance to the Elite Eight. The number 4 team in the country returned to Ludwig Field in its first Sweet 16 appearance since 2018. Luckily for the Terps, they picked up right where they left off. After getting warmed up for the first few minutes, Maryland strikes first off this goal from Albi Endranica. Then Rocket Rita launched a rocket, doubling the score. Then Luke Van Holcomb sealed the deal, leading the Terps to their first Elite Eight appearance since their national championship run in 2018. Here's head coach Sasho Surofsky after the win.
For the most part, we mitigated their chances. Our box defending was excellent. Our recovery defending was excellent. To hold the team to 5 shots and only a couple on goal speaks volumes of our team effort. That's not done by one individual. So great mentality. That's what we need to do again next week.
The Terps are in the Elite Eight, like we said. They will face Washington on Saturday at 1 p.m. As you'll remember, the Terps and the Huskies played in an emotional contest on Halloween. Maryland won 1-0. So Saturday's rematch should be quite the show, Benji.
This will be Washington's 3rd trip to College Park in the last 5 weeks. So we'll see if that will be something different for them. But with Maryland playing so well, it's going to be difficult for them to change things around.
Yeah, from the pitch to the gridiron, the Terps play an unconventional opponent during rivalry week, Michigan State, at Ford Field of all places. Even the different stadium, Maryland continues to falter this season. To start the game, it is all Sparty. Michigan State jumps out to a 17-0 lead in the blink of an eye behind a couple of touchdown passes from Alessio Milivojevic. But the Terps fight back. Malik Washington shreds the Michigan State secondary for 459 passing yards on 61 passing attempts. Jaleel Farouk has one of the best games of his career, catching 2 touchdowns, and Maryland is down by 3 heading into the 4th quarter. Terps fans are used to the story, though. Maryland gets a big interception, but Malik is sacked and the Terps are stopped on 4th down late in the 4th quarter, yet again losing to Michigan State 38-28.
Now that takes us to the end of the season. Maryland football finished the season 4-8, and many Maryland fans pointing out that it was the same old Maryland, even though head coach Mike Locksley said it was not the same old Maryland team.
Yeah, Benji. Locksley's team started 4-0 and then lost 8 games in a row. We know he will be back next season, and he'll be joined by consensus top 5 prospect Zion Ely. And Malik Washington is expected to return for another season after his record-breaking rookie campaign.
And you know, that's a solid foundation for next season with talented guys on both offense and defense. So if the coaches can hit on a few transfers in the portal and work things around, we'll see if they can turn things around and win some games next season.
Yeah, but we'll see if there's any new assistants on the staff.
Now, outside of the return of Mike Locksley, some of the state's best high school athletes are staying put as well.
TSC's Ben Wolf is in Studio B to tell us about the shiny new faces that will be coming to College Park next year, Ben.
Benji, Jonah, Maryland Athletics has had quite the start to the holiday season with some top-notch players committing to Maryland for next year. Now, I want to start with the sport that we don't talk about often on this show, and that is track and field, with the commitment of Bowie, Maryland native and Olympic gold medalist Quincy Wilson. Wilson partook in the 2024 Paris Olympics, where he became the youngest track and field male Olympian in United States history when he was a member of the 4x400 meter relay pool. Wilson chose Maryland over South Carolina, Southern California, Texas A&M, and UCLA. And during his commitment announcement, he played some trickery, putting on a UCLA and South Carolina hat before officially revealing Maryland was his choice. Now to the hardwood. About 2 weeks ago, five-star Baba Olatunji announced his verbal commitment to Maryland. And I was in the Xfinity Center when it happened, and boy, oh boy, was there excitement that roared throughout the arena. Take a look. The Silver Spring native is ESPN's number 8 ranked high school basketball player and the number 1 ranked player in the state of Maryland. Olatunji chose Maryland over Georgetown, Arkansas, and Kentucky. Now, flipping over to the Lady Terps, Maryland women's basketball officially signed five-star guard Jordan Jackson. Jackson is the 7th ranked player in the country according to ESPN and has been named to Jersey Mike's Naismith Trophy Girls High School Player of the Year watch list. Boy, that was a mouthful, but this is yet another dominant player joining Brenda Friese's squad, who she has been targeting for quite some time. And so, as you see, there is a lot of high-end recruits coming to College Park in the coming months, and we are really starting to see the trend where the best in the DMV want to stay in the DMV. One local prospect looking to make a name for himself, he's not a flashy five-star, but as Daniel Stein explains, he's learning from some NFL-level talent.
Nestled in the heart of D.C. is Gonzaga College High School, home to one of the district's most prestigious athletic programs. You might know some of its most famous alumni, like New York Jets first-round pick Olu Fashanu. Not flashy enough? What about this guy?
Up there, Williams recovers, throws a seed, has a man, and is caught!
That's right, Gonzaga is also home to Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and 2024 number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams. But Gonzaga's latest commit strives to be a QB's best friend while also being an effective blocker.
I would say my style of play is that do-it-all guy, being able to run routes, catch the ball, I have great hands, and then also being able to be on the line and either pass block or run block to the best of my ability.
Meet Braden Marco, a 3-star tight end committed to play football at the next level right up the road at Maryland. But in his own words, Marco's decision to join the Terps was about more than just football.
For me, it was the coaches. The coaches really cared about their players, truly cared about who you were as a person and not just like who you are on the field, but also like who you actually are off the field.
And now, after roaming the halls of Gonzaga, Braden Marco now will train with the best of the best over at Jones Hill House, where he looks to follow in the footsteps of great tight ends like Vernon Davis and Chiga Konkwo.
I mean, it means a lot. They're putting their faith in me, and for me to be able to be that player that they know that I can be, to go out there and eventually be on that field and play the way that we all know that I can.
In College Park, the Terps are getting a guy who can do a little bit of everything, including being a locker room leader.
The guys see an example that he sets, the way that he works in the weight room, the way that he works in the field, the way that he works in the classroom. And then from there, you know, I think he's really exerted himself in a different way.
The older that I've gotten, the more I found my voice, the more I've become confident in myself and the team, and the more that people have like started to look up to me just because I'm one of those upperclassmen and the guys who's been in the program for a longer time.
Marco continues to walk a path that collegiate and professional athletes walked before him, a path that inspires him every day.
I'm playing for a team that they used to play for, so now I'm repping that Gonzaga name, and I need to make sure that I am repping it well.
In Noma, Daniel Stein, Terrapin Sports Central.
Thank you, Daniel, for the great story. And Benji, Jonah, I mean, as we have dove into this, Maryland is dominating the recruiting trail in the DMV, which is something that these programs must do in order to compete in the Big Ten. Reporting live from Studio B, Terrapin Sports Central, Ben Wolf, back to you guys.
Yep, thank you, Ben. And it seems that every coach across every sport for Maryland is just emphasizing the best in the DMV can come play for Maryland for their home state.
I mean, you've seen that with all these 5-stars in the DMV area staying. I mean, this is such a shot in the arm for Maryland athletics going forward, and the impact it could have well in the future. I mean, we have to wait and see for that. But Benji, when's the last time you sprinted 400 meters in a row?
I cannot remember, but it's lucky that we're having the best of the DMV at doing so. Come here to play for Maryland.
Yeah, I don't think I would make it to 350 by that point.
Now, don't go anywhere because when we have some Terps hoops to discuss.
That's right. Nolan Rogalski joins us to talk some ball. And later on, we got a fun guessing game planned. Stay with us. Don't forget Matt Gurmack, too.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to the Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Jona Jancewicz, and that's my partner, Benji Kaufman. Benji, what are your thoughts on a 12 a.m. Eastern start time?
You know, not ideal, but when you have nothing going on the next day with Thanksgiving break, you know, can't ask for much more.
And I, for one, definitely stayed up till 2 a.m. to watch the end of that UNLV game, Benji.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but, you know, it was worth it coming out with the win to stay up that late.
Oh, for sure. The bright lights of Vegas were shining for the Players Air tournament. Terps were one of the teams competing for the tournament crown and NIL money. The best day of the tournament for Buzz and the squad was day one. Maryland is matched up against UNLV and starts turning the ball over. So much in the first half, it makes people think that there's grease on the ball. But good news for Terps fans is that star Pharrell Payne is back and healthy after the scary fall against Marquette. But it is Pharrell Payne's dominating presence in the paint that leads Maryland to a 74-67 win over UNLV. The following two games in the tournament get ugly. The Terps played number 12 Gonzaga and number 9 Alabama in back-to-back days and lost by, and now wait for it, a combined 72 points. The Terps were totally outclassed by those two teams in every which way.
Now, to help us make sense of that trip out west for the Terps is Nolan Rogalski and Matt Germak, who has been covering the Terps for Testudo Times. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Nolan and Matt, let's start with the obvious. Two massive blowout losses to a couple of ranked teams. Where's the panic level for the Terps this season?
You know, the panic level is certainly higher than it was when they started this stretch. It was never going to be a game that Maryland was going to win against either Gonzaga or Alabama, but at the same time, certainly didn't expect to see that. That was not good. The Terps really got pulled apart defensively in a way that we weren't expecting to see. There was a lot of success from those two teams, and they just didn't have the firepower to keep up the offensive pace.
And it is worth adding, while he is 100%, it is worth adding that these were absolutely games we expected the Terps to lose. Gonzaga and Alabama will be competing for national championships come year's end. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Both of those teams are in making Elite Eight, Final Four type runs. And Maryland just simply isn't a place in year one of Buzz Williams where it's going to have that type of star power, and that is something we expect. The degree of the loss was certainly not what we were expecting, especially on the defensive end, like Nolan said. I think they got picked apart a little bit more. We saw Gonzaga just throwing the ball all across the court. I don't have the assist numbers in front of me, but there were a lot of them, and that's certainly something that I think Maryland fans have good reason to panic about more. But the results, not as much.
Should Terps fans expect that against Big Ten competition? I mean, they're playing Michigan not too far from now, and Michigan's one of the top power-rated teams in the country.
Yeah, I mean, I think Big Ten plays a wide spectrum against the Michigan, against the top teams in the conference. Obviously, that's not going to be the case, but it is a long conference schedule. They have a stretch to close out the season throughout February where they're playing bottom feeder after bottom feeder after bottom feeder. And in a stretch like that, I don't expect that this is anywhere. I think that UNLV, the game they won by 7, I think that's a lot more reflective of where most of the Big Ten is going to be this year.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Maryland is going to be playing those teams if they get to the tournament, that sort of a caliber. But until then, Michigan aside, there's not really a team that is on the level of either Gonzaga or Bama left on the Terps schedule.
And so now those were ugly losses, but one thing we know about Buzz Williams is that he very intentionally schedules those more challenging non-conference games. So for Maryland fans who aren't used to that, what can that do for a team before conference play starts up in the next month or so?
Yeah, I mean, it's really great exposure, especially when you look at Buzz Williams' team. I mean, so many freshmen there, players that are not used to this sort of a game. There's 5 true freshmen, another 2 or 3 redshirt freshmen, guys who had never seen the court before. And to get those guys gelling alongside players like Pharrell Payne, who are more used to this sort of a stage, is really important. And getting them to see, this is a top-level team where we can aspire to be as a program in a year or two could be helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see guys coming into this program, guys like Baba Alatun, guys that are going to elevate you to that point. But in the meantime, you have to finish the season. And the 15 players or the however many players that they have in their rotation needs to be able to play together. And against a team like Gonzaga, I like Gonzaga as an example more than Alabama just because Gonzaga is such a cohesive unit as a team. It's really good for them to be able to see a team play like that when they've had big turnover problems, especially in Vegas. We saw them have really big turnover problems, nearly set a program record for turnovers against Gonzaga.
Keeping up on the players, we've documented how many transfers they've had, and coming out of the offseason, who's really surprised you in how well they've played, or who hasn't lived up to the hype?
I think I want to spotlight Darius Adams a bit. I think we all expected him to be impactful for sure, coming in as a composite 5-star recruit, but I don't think we expected this much from him this early, especially with the amount of guys Maryland brought in at guard, guys like Diggy Coit, Andre Mills. Miles Rice hasn't played as much. We were expecting Miles Rice to get a lot more run than he has. But Darius Adams looks phenomenal. He was the other guy outside of Pharrell Payne that truly didn't look outmatched against a team like Alabama or Gonzaga. He's physical. He plays good defense. His shooting form is finally starting to get there. He was struggling from beyond the arc to start the year. Back-to-back good performances against Alabama and Gonzaga. I'd say he's been the biggest surprise for me so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Miles Rice is an interesting case. We talked about it. He hasn't played much. 19 points in that game against Georgetown. He has just 9 in the 3 games he's played since, all of those games at Vegas. It really wasn't a great display from him, particularly on the defensive end. Buzz was not happy with what he saw. So Rice got not as many minutes as you would expect, but somebody you would certainly expect to really produce more for the team as the season goes on. The other kid I'll spotlight is Alex Alston, the freshman. He was somebody who came in that Alabama game specifically, looked really good spacing the floor as more of a stretch for a forward that Maryland can rely on, not just in the paint, but from outside as well. He's got probably the nicest mid-range shot on the team. And a guy at 6'10", that's a pretty good tool the Terps could use.
And now Maryland has dealt with injuries a lot this season, and with Miles Rice, as you mentioned, still getting back to form, and Solomon Washington not yet making an appearance. What do you guys make of the ceiling for this year's team once everyone comes back to fully healthy?
Yeah, I don't know how high the ceiling is for this team, honestly. I think preseason I predicted that they would finish 15-15. I think it's still probably about that. They could sneak out a few extra Big Ten wins, finish in the 16 or 17 win range, but I think that's probably about their ceiling. There just simply isn't enough high-end talent. I mean, Pharrell Payne and Darius Adams are phenomenal players, but they can only get you so far.
Yeah, it's a rebuilding year for sure. I think Maryland fans have to temper their expectations a little bit, be a little bit more patient with it, because there is a very good team coming. This is the beginning of that. The success is not going to come right now. I personally think that this team can eke out a tournament run. Maybe they can get in as a 9 seed, and I don't know they would necessarily be the easiest out if they're getting into that second round sort of game, but I do think that is about where we can see them go this year.
Certainly a tough matchup for a 1 or 2 seed, but guys, we really appreciate you giving us your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
You can find more of Nolan and Matt's work at Testudo Times at testudotimes.com, and you can follow them on Twitter at Nolan Rogowski and Matt Gurmak.
And now, switching gears to Maryland women's basketball, these Terps have been unstoppable, starting the season 9-0. The number 7 ranked Terps' most recent wins came in the Discover Puerto Rico Classic. On Wednesday, they beat 16th ranked Kentucky 74-66. Maryland led by as much as 20, and Kayleen Smichael returned to midseason form, notching 22 points in the win. Then on Thursday, Maryland destroyed Hofstra. 12 players got on the board for the Terps in the 95-38 mauling. And the Terps will be back at home this week against Mount St. Mary's before hitting the road over the weekend to take on Minnesota.
Maryland volleyball wrapped up its season on Friday, trying to avoid ending the season on a 7th straight sweep. And well, that didn't happen. The match did not start out easy for the Terps. Right out of the gates, they were trailing and eventually end the first set 25-16. Moving on to the second set, the Terps continued to compete, but still not enough, falling 25-11. The Terps are able to stay neck and neck with the Ducks throughout the third set, but as we've seen all season, nothing to show for it. Oregon is able to counter on Maryland's small errors, and the Terps drop a 13th straight match Here's Adam Hughes on a frustrating season.
A disappointing result for the year. But I told everyone at Thanksgiving, I'm not disappointed in the humans. I thought they gave it a go, and we had a plan, and it kind of got scattered. And at the same time, they never turned on each other. They never quit. They showed up every day and worked hard. And I thought they showed their.
Now, don't go anywhere, because Benji and I are about to embarrass ourselves with our Maryland sports knowledge.
And we will reveal our Terp of the Week, our Pro Terp of the Week, and our favorite top 5 plays. Don't go anywhere.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to the Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Benji Kaufman, and that's my partner, Jona Jancewicz. And Jonah, what is your best memory of November?
Probably the green bean casserole I made on Thanksgiving. It was great. What about you?
Very nice. But in terms of Maryland athletics, best memory is being in Xfinity Center for Diggy Coit's shot, and his 41-point performance was just something to remember. It was awesome.
Yeah, I remember where I was when I saw that shot.
For sure.
We'll take a look at some of the best of November for Maryland athletics. Thanks to Eddie Calkins.
All right, welcome to the Left Bench, a brutal homecoming weekend for Maryland football.
I will coach them hard and I will hang in there with them. I've done that work. It ain't a year ago. That's why when I talk about not the same old Maryland, it ain't.
So amidst a 4-game skid for the football team, Maryland fans are still feeling the fun next door to CQ Stadium.
My 4 favorite F words were in there: family, football, fun, and I lost the other one. Oh.
I was going to say, please don't cuss on live air.
Yes.
That would be absolutely terrible.
Fantastic. I mean, we've got better spacing in the circle. We're leading to the ball and posting up. We've got rotation and a lot of people playing, so I couldn't be happier.
Lackluster performances from football and basketball, but really the weekend was saved by the men's soccer team. 4-3 victory gives the Terps their first undefeated regular season since 2016.
Grab your cameras, grab your tripods. We're here at, where are we, Ben? Rutgers. Give the review. Give the fans what they want. Cameraless here at Shanghai Stadium. Cameras! Yay! I did my unofficial 50-yard dash that day, man.
Last year, they were still trying to prove themselves off of Iowa State, find an identity. This year, we know this team is a good team. We know that they have the depth to go far.
Yeah, let's see. Come on. No, it's this. I mean, Jeff.
Jake, for the first time since 1994, Maryland field hockey is not even in the big dance. We weren't born the last time that happened.
It's definitely going to be looking at what went wrong this season, helping, the current players to learn from that.
You don't score on the shots you don't take, so just keep creating offense, keep creating your attacks.
Maryland picks up an 89-82 win at Marquette. It was a score, though, that became almost secondary.
I've never seen him hurt. And the angle that I saw, it did not appear good. I know I'm not supposed to run out on the floor.
Even with his Big Ten record being 17-46, which is not ideal.
The Terps found themselves digging for answers all night, but luckily, they had Diggy. He put up 41 points, the most by a Terp ever in the Xfinity Center. Terp ever in the Xfinity. One more, man. Diggy, please. Please, Diggy. One more. I promise. One more. I got you. Confidence, man. Confidence.
A disappointing result for the year. But I told everyone at Thanksgiving, I'm not disappointed in the humans. I thought they gave it a go, and we had a plan, and it kind of got scattered.
This was a fantastic, complete team victory today.
Well, thank you, Eddie, for what a great video. I mean, I would like to know, what's Drew's fourth favorite F word? I mean, I don't have any guesses on that one.
I mean, Eddie was all of us watching that, hopefully waiting for Drew to let it rip, but glad that didn't happen. It was a lot of fun watching that, but now let's have a little more fun. We're going to play a quick round of Zoomed In. Our producers have picked 4 athletes, past or present, and zoomed in on them.
It's our job to guess who they are based on the zoomed-in photo. Let's pull up the first one. Yeah, I'm going to do real bad on this one.
Looking at a soccer player here.
I'm going to take
bright lights.
Bright lights, I mean, someone that shines in the bright lights, maybe.
Few players with that hairstyle. I'll guess.
What's your guess?
I'll guess Luca Costabile.
Oh man,
it's going to be tough, but that's a guess in the dark.
So I was going to say Rocket Rita, but I was going to get clowned by our good friend Aiden Curry, because that's not Rocket Rita. Is that Luke Van Hooploom?
Let's find out. Let's show us the. Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Shot in the dark, 1-0 Benji. Very nice.
I'm just hoping to get one. I just want one. So I'm going to do poorly, as everyone can see, but I just want one.
Yeah, so let's hope. Right now, 1-0. Let's take a look at the next one. We'll see how we do. Okay. This funny zoomed-in picture. I think if we know our coaches, we should do pretty well on this.
This is clearly not Brenda Fries. I know that. This is not Brenda Fries. This is not Kathy Reese. I think I have a good guess. How about you?
I think I have a good guess. We'll say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Adam Hughes, head coach of Maryland volleyball. So
very nice picture from our photographer Ella. Very nicely done.
Thank you, Ella, for that picture. That was a little easier, I'd have to say. So I'm happy I got that one.
First one was tough. Second one was a little easier. So now let's see how we do on the third one.
So this is testing our paying attention skills, because this was the player in Dan's package. And I know Dan's going to get really mad when we get the name wrong, because I forgot the name.
We know who it is. We saw what position he plays. It was a great story from Daniel. I am drawing a blank on the name here.
I really want to thank Daniel for that great package. We should get half points for saying Gonzaga University football player committed to Maryland for next year.
Yeah, we got half points for saying exactly who this is, just without the name. So let's see if we're. There we go. Yeah, Marco. I could have remembered that.
Yeah, we should have remembered that. That's on us.
Great story from Daniel anyway. So now let's say it's still 1-1 or 2-1. We both got that
2.5,
second one.
1.5.
Sure.
Let's see if I can get to 2.5 maybe.
Oh
no.
Okay, based on the ties, I think we can.
I think we know who it is, because we were talking about ties last time on the show, and I recognize your tie already. I mean, your tie collection is incredible.
Thank you. Usually I rock the pink one, but I think you're on the right here rocking that one, and I got the pattern one.
Yep. So that's Benji on the left, me on the right. We're switched today.
I'll agree with you there.
That's us on the zoomed in part.
There we go. Very nice. And that was off a fresh haircut from yourself. Very nicely done. And that was a lot of fun. But we talked earlier how this year's Maryland men's soccer is having a season for the ages with a number of different guys pouring in. Rocket Rita has been unreal for the Terps, and his latest performance has earned him our Terp of the Week. The Rocket was incredible on Saturday. He notched an assist in the first half, but then scored a goal of his own. After weaving through defenders, Rita spears the ball inside for a massive goal that doubled the lead for the Terps, which led to the huge win for Maryland. Rocket now has a goal in back-to-back tournament games with 4 total and 6 assists in his freshman season. Congrats to Rocket Rita on being named this week's Terp of the Week.
This week's Pro Terp of the Week is none other than Jordan Phillips. The man in the middle of the past Terps D-line came up with the game-winning stop for the Dolphins today against our senior producers, Drew Owens, favorite team in the Saints. Sorry, Drew, about this. On the season, Phillips has 25 total tackles and 3 run stuffs, according to ESPN Stats. Congrats to Jordan Phillips for our Pro Terp of the Week. Now, Benji, it's everyone's favorite time. It's our favorite time. top 5 plays. Get us going.
Let's do it, Jonah. Top 5 plays. We'll start out with football. Yes, this was a frustrating loss, but Malik Washington played great. And here's a nice throw to Shalik Knotts, one of his favorite targets all year. Just a nice twisting grab from Punch. We'll get another look here. Just a great play from the senior. Leaping over the defender. Just a great play. One of the few positives from that loss on Saturday.
Yeah, Benji, at number 4, Darius Adams. The lob and the jam by Pharrell Payne. Terps fans hoping to see more of that connection throughout the season.
Now, staying with hoops, we'll go to number 3. Here is Salem Poffenbarger down in Puerto Rico. Shot clock winding down against Kentucky. Sidestep 3. A little luck on her side as this team has been unreal, and so they have been deserving that luck. Here's another look. Bank is open, and that is what was the cherry on top of that win over Kentucky.
Yeah, and at number 2, the play that was seen around the country. Andre Mills on his backside, on the ground, looking like me at the Thanksgiving dinner table, just sitting down for a good 6 hours, eating all I can get, and he scored the bucket right there.
And at number 1, it is none other than Rocket Rita Rita. We just showed this play, but it does not get old as he slices this ball inside. That was a great ovation from the crowd, just weaving through defenders, nailing it, doubling the lead, and that is what led to Maryland's massive win over UConn.
That about does it for this week. Be sure to keep up with all of TSC's coverage on Instagram and X, YouTube, and online at TerrapinSportsCentral.com. Thanks for joining us. Joe Wagman and Madeline Burke will go all in on Maryland volleyball on this week's edition of the Left Bench in Focus.
That show drops at 10 a.m. on our YouTube channel. See you next week.